So today, just to introduce our hosts, we have Stuart Moss and Pete Saunders from High Level Software, which is part of the Zonal family. And today's topic, we're talking about social media. So social media's role in boosting direct bookings. So over to you, Stuart. Why did you choose this topic as your discussion today?
Good morning. Well, in this digital era, social media is no longer merely a platform for exploration. It's evolved into a vital channel for booking accommodation, especially amongst younger adults. And we wanted to open up what hotels need to do to capitalize on this trend. And we felt some initial thoughts. So we said, initially, you need to prioritize your social media presence by spotlighting the amenities that matter most to your guests. So what are you famous for? Whether it's great dining or in-room facilities or convenient parking and a city centre location or high-speed Wi-Fi and co-working, what makes you you? And for the younger generation, or Gen Z, you must now emphasize sustainability, inclusivity, wellness, corporate social responsibility, and employee welfare. Now, these aspects are rapidly gaining significance for this demographic. Your social media presence should transcend mere appearances. It should directly drive bookings by allowing potential guests to grasp what makes your hotel unique, what makes your business special, and what your voice is. Obviously, outside of the OTAs, is your voice, it's your channel. Younger adults, particularly those aged 18 to 34, are becoming a key core demographic for frequent hotel stays. They're coming to economic power. A remarkable 37% of this age group have visited a hotel at least monthly in the last 6 months, with 23% doing so on a weekly basis. Now, that's twice the average rate amongst consumers. I'm sure everybody that stands in the lobby is noticing the age shift. Now, to leverage this trend, hotels really need to use social media as a tool to actively engage with younger guests. Astonishingly, 60% of 18 to 34-year-olds check a hotel's social media page before they make a booking. Now, to cater to their preferences, you need vibrant, visually appealing images of your hotel rooms, lobby, and communal spaces. You need to enhance their appeal and convenience through the media. And don't forget to include direct booking links, because these are becoming a key way to facilitate bookings. If your hotel features food and beverage outlets, use social media to highlight their offerings, exclusive deals and promotions, but build trust with potential guests through regular communication, responsiveness, and authenticity. That's the key word, authenticity, put my teeth in. So your authentic voice, we talk a lot about OTAs and how we can move our businesses away from the OTAs. Now, to move your business into this new channel, you need distribution, and social media is your distribution. So therefore, you've got to be authentic and give a value and give a voice that you're not going to get through an OTA who doesn't know you at that level. And that's why we thought we would open up this conversation today to talk around social media and how it can drive direct bookings into your business.
Great. So, in terms of social media, what would you say are the best platforms to use for hoteliers?
We get asked this a lot, and we respond by saying the ones where your guests are. Let's go double down on those first. Obviously, the more widespread you can talk about your business, the better. But if you know your demographic is likely to be on Facebook, if you know your demographic is likely to be on TikTok, go hard on those. You can tailor social media to post them on any channel, really. But the big ones, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, is getting a lot of traction now as well.
Yep. Okay. And in terms of so what you're saying is basically looking at who your target market is and where they are, and then from there you would then drive your business on that platform rather than on every platform. Yeah,
absolutely. If you're looking to drive bookings into your business away from the OTAs, if you're looking to get direct bookings in, social media is a wonderful safety net that you can put around your business. So first of all, you need a great booking engine, and you need to have a clean website journey that isn't off-putting or hindering bookings in any way, shape, or form, because that'll just drive people to OTAs immediately. But if I've started to investigate your business, you wanted me to find it. So social media is a great way for me to do that. You know, if I'm like walking my dog, talk about the dog walking facilities that you've got in your hotel, and then leverage that throughout the social media. It's a great way to reach customers in groups, targeted groups, about talking about what you're famous for. Like we mentioned, dogs there. If you have the Yorkshire Dales on your background, as we do here, talk about that, post about that, show the prescription that you can give somebody with a dog that they can have a great weekend in your business. And then use the social media as a net around your booking. So talk about the great authentic things that are happening, because booking.com can't do that. Expedia can't do that, but you can do that. It's your business. Give an authentic voice and give a tone for your business, and give a bit of personality. It's a very potent tool for driving direct bookings.
I guess the biggest thing around social media, it's so big now, isn't it? That a lot of people or a lot of businesses, especially if they're smaller businesses, probably wonder how they get seen, because it's sometimes it's a case of like you post something and then you might only get maybe 1 or 2 likes or something like that, and then you sort of start to question, okay, well, is it worth it? Am I actually being seen in amongst this massive pool of businesses all trying to all trying to use the algorithms to get to the top? What would you suggest? Is it more to go for paid advertising, or go the hashtags and that kind of way? What would you suggest?
I'd give it a daily focus, and I'd focus very heavily on the responsiveness of any comments. If you're not responding to comments, that actually hinders you more so than helping. And I would double down on what I know I'm famous for again. So if a really simple, I'm booking a hotel in Leeds in a couple of days, and I've searched for the one that's got great parking, because that mattered to me then. For a business stay, that mattered to me. So let's talk about that. Let's highlight that. I mean, it's a really boring example, but let's show what our hotel facilities are through social media, and let's shout about it. And it's definitely worth spending time on, because the alternative is you don't, and then you don't get any prominence anywhere. And then you just might as well have a booking.com link on your website. So it's your opportunity to be a shop window. I mean, you can have a bit of fun with your team, and that's a great thing as well. And you can really go to town on it, or you can just have a really nice, authentic voice, authentic tone of images and regular posting that adds value to your business. And if you need to batch post, you can batch post on a Sunday and give it a couple of hours and spread it out for the week. But it doesn't need to take all the time in the world, but you definitely need to have it there. And then, of course, it's the search optimization as well.
Yeah. What does everyone else think? I mean, what posts are appealing to? We've got quite a few people here joining us today. So what's everyone else's opinion? Like what posts are appealing to you, which would make you book? Anyone?
Well, I from my experience, when I've been managing social media channels for properties I've managed in the past, you could spend ages on finely polishing a beautiful video, or photoshopping your imagery, and like you said, you could load it up, think, oh, that's really great bit of video, and get hardly any engagement. And then, your kitchen porter makes a funny joke and makes the bubbles look like a silly thing, and you get that on a really dirty sort of handheld shaky video, and that just goes viral. So there's sometimes no rhyme or reason what it is, but I think it's that genuine sort of almost behind the curtain kind of experience that gets more engagement on social media than something that feels really corporate and really well polished. So I think it's about really having it as a sort of almost a side note to sales. You have this engaging content that makes your potential guests laugh or piques their interest because of unique experience that you're offering. If you go just absolutely sort of ramming it down the throats of your followers of buy, then they turn off quite quickly. It's you've sort of got to get that mix in with the content, and like Stuart says, it's got to be, you've got to sort of keep drip feeding it in. You can't just do one post a month and expect the bookings to come in. It's got to be a constant. So I don't think anyone is saying that it's easy, But when you're considering that you're paying 15 to 20 odd % commission for the OTAs, anything that you can do to sort of knock the dial over to your direct channel, the much better. And you'll build loyalty through that channel as well, because they have the opportunity to review you. On most social media, Facebook, for example, you can do Facebook reviews, which again, as long as you're getting positive reviews, and I'm sure everyone on this webinar is making sure that they're providing the service that their guests would want, that you've got something to be proud of. And then also it gives encouragement to future guests as well, that it's reassuring, because they've seen, again, it's more genuine, because it's from another client that's left that review.
100%. That's a really important point.
I was going to say there's probably quite a fine line there in terms of what you're actually posting, because there's certainly bigger companies wouldn't post, say, your kitchen porter doing a scratchy video, because it doesn't meet the marketing guidelines as such, and wouldn't it's a fine line almost, isn't it? But then it's making it appealing enough that is behind the brand, and like you say, not just polished photos or polished videos, but just something else. So I guess it is a very much a fine line in terms of the content, making it exciting. What does everyone else think? What posts are appealing to you guys? Hi, yes, hello, please. Sorry, I don't know your name. It just says PC on here. Oh, hello there, Pamela. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think, can I say, the best advice I was ever given was show up consistently regarding social media, whether that's consistency to your brand values and your standards, or it's about the fact that if you create an expectation that you'll post something at 10 o'clock every morning and that you'll engage with people, you've got to be consistent to build. And that whilst you might only get 10 views initially, you suddenly wake up one morning, and because you've been doing it for 2 months at 10 o'clock every morning, you've suddenly shot up to 1,500, or something has gone viral. And I think, just building on what several people said, yes, authenticity is key. And again, another thing that somebody taught me a couple of years ago is action, not perfection. As I think Pete was just saying, it's about, just do it, just get your camera out and do it. We're all used to websites where the photography has to be perfect and signed off by the general manager and all of that. That's not what social media is about. It's capturing the moment and then letting the customers, almost start and do the conversation for you.
What's your background, Pamela? Are you hotel in sales or marketing?
Marketing. I'm president of the Hotel Marketing Association, I have to declare. So yes, I do know something about what I'm talking about. I should have declared that up front. Apologies, guys, but yes,
that's okay.
I like to come to these things to learn as well. It's always important to keep fresh views and interact with new people. There's always new things happening as well with social media. It's a constantly changing beast. So
absolutely,
I do know something about what I'm talking about.
Oh, good.
It's very true. I think it's, because your social media is it's very disposable, isn't it? Because, you put the post up and then it's down the feed really quickly, unlike your website, which is more static than that. So you do need the very best imagery on there. The social media, you can be a little bit more down and dirty with it. But it's also worth noting that you can have different voices through different channels. I think Aldi, the supermarket's quite a good example of this. They have their TV campaigns and things, and then they're really quite cheeky on social media, aren't they? Sticking it to like Marks and Spencers and things, and and so I think that you as a hotel and as a brand, you don't want to get too hung up. I think your followers and the general public can differentiate between the channels, and you can play around a little bit more on social media with your tone of voice.
It's to be entertaining, isn't it? Entertaining and authentic. I think that's I've been in a position where I've gone viral on a few things via social media, and it's always when you're authentic, and it's always when you've added value. I think adding value is the main thing, but the bit that I find really interesting, which I think is so essential now to look at, is that this next generation, this Gen Z, if you like, they've grown up with social media, and they're vetting your business before they come. That's what they're doing now, and they expect to have You're talking about all the things that you mentioned, like wellness. They expect this data to positively impact their life. They expect that you look after your team. They expect that you've got social corporate responsibility. They expect that they're accessible, whether it's a suite or a year. They expect these things, and they can smell a sales pitch a mile off. It's got to be authentic and it's got to add value. And I think that's the bit that I find really, really interesting. I don't you think, Pamela? I think that's that next generation that have grown up with social media and have an expectation of what they're going to see from your business before they arrive.
What
Yes, I mean,
about? Oh, sorry. Go on.
yes,
Go on,
sorry.
Pamela. Go on, please do talk.
As several people have, yes, authenticity is key to me, and authenticity should always underpin your marketing regardless of what channel. But you're right, I think it's certainly getting your head into that space of that younger generation, as you said, have grown up with it. I'm fortunate, I have a son who's 30 something, so I've seen what it's like, and when I'm with him and his mates, the way they do things is very, very different to the way my generation did it or do it. And yes, their expectation, I mean, I find even many of them don't even own a laptop anymore. They're just so used to doing, even in business, every single thing is done on their phone. So again, it's us thinking that they're not seeing things in large scale. They're just literally scrolling through their phone at breakneck speed, which is why I think getting frequency of content out there is so key, because we think we've posted it and everybody's looking at it for the next 2 hours. Well, they haven't. They've scrolled through 100 messages in the next sort of minute, and then they've moved on again in an hour later when they're quickly flicking through it in their tea break or what have you. So yeah, I would say to you can't put out too much content.
No, and it's got to, that thumbnail's got to count.
I was going to ask what's a good amount of content per day? Like, are we talking daily, like one post a day, or are we talking more like a couple of posts, 2 or 3 posts a day, or is there just no limit on how much you should be posting? Is it not? Would it not be annoying if you keep showing up, or what do you suggest?
From I mean, I'll open this up to other people, of course, but from my experience, I did want it across each platform at the times that we knew were beneficial and formatted for each platform. But in terms of responding to people's comments all day, keep it open and jump on it. But I didn't bombard. I just did that one great post at the right time that added value and that was formatted correctly and was authentic. But that was just me. Other people might have a different opinion.
I think you can post more often, but as long as it's unique posting, you can't just keep pulling out the same post time and time again, post the same thing 3 or 4 times a day. That's not going to work. I think the algorithm will come up against you as well on that. But it's a case of being, great content is you can drip feed it in. There's great scheduling tools within the platforms, and you can get other platforms that will schedule across all the channels for you. So I mean, I used to do a thing with Paws and Coffee, where it was just where people bringing their dogs into the pub, and some days I'd have like 6 or 7 great dogs come in, so it's like snap snap snap, but I wouldn't put all of those dogs up in one day, because then I've got no content for the rest of the week. So then you just schedule it in, and then it comes out. So just because you're taking the image right there and then, it doesn't need to go up. You can bank it. So I think that's important to understand. That's from those posts it was just a nice thing that guests love to see little puppies and things, rather than it like, well, if I post all of this, I'm going to get the dog walking society to come in. There was no intention of that. It was just nice content, and we were getting engagement on there. So then people sort of your other posts are more likely to come up in feeds then as well. And the best thing is when you sort of start a movement. I always love it when someone else does my job for me. So if you can get user generated content, then that's fabulous. If because if you're getting your guests to post and use your hashtags or tag you in, then you're getting that content being generated for you. And that's absolutely, that you find that's even more engaging to the other users than stuff that's coming from the corporate machine.
Yeah, I mean, that was a subject that we talked about at an Above and Beyond up in Edinburgh recently, about having the hotel there having Instagrammable areas. I think what did he say? So like he had 8 Instagrammable spots around the hotel that you could that people could take photos, you know, be
Yep.
it for like all these lovely areas, and it's almost like a, you know, a mission to go and find them and then have your pictures taken at that spot. But
Sort
then
of
you,
like
I
hidden
guess,
gems, even in the
yeah,
rain, he
but then
said, didn't he? Yeah.
yeah, but then you can also look at other things, can't you, in terms of food is always a good one, isn't it? People always like post
Oh
up
gosh, yeah.
food. So if you're providing as a hotelier or a restaurant, you're providing something that's really wow, then people are going to take photos of that, aren't they? And then post that up on the social media. I love taking pictures of food. I'm sure it's really boring for some people to see, but
No, because
I see it all the
it's your
time.
way.
I
Yeah.
do see it all the time, but particularly food that's really pretty or wow. Yeah, you can't help it, can you? Oh, quickly take a picture of that, and up it goes on Instagram or other platforms. I guess also as well, it's looking at if you are going to have these Instagrammable places in your venues, is looking at what's in the background, making sure that it is actually Instagrammable and you haven't got like, I don't know, a fire exit sign that's like bright green or just other things that
Outer
could
order
be in the,
side,
yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking like like where you place your Christmas tree in your hotel, and you know, it looks all really pretty, but then if you've got something in the background that's not pretty, then that almost ruins the post for you as well, doesn't it? So yeah, I guess it's look choosing that. Sana, you've got a question for us. I can see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, it's not really a question as such, but I just wanted to say that I agree with what you're saying and about having those Instagrammable locations, because I went somewhere for afternoon tea nearby where I live in Chesham in Buckinghamshire, and it was at the De Vere, and they had like this photo frame, and so they actually marked out the dimensions for you. So it's also about getting the correct photo dimensions as well. And I think that's something that's discussed in marketing meetings, but I just thought I'd just chip it.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. If you can encourage people to on that, I've done, you know, Instagrammable trails around cities where we had a hotel and things like that. If you can get people to evangelize and post about your business for you, like Pete says, you're doing the job for you. And that's really what you're trying to achieve. And I used to talk a lot about writing a social media prescription, really, which sounds a bit more severe than it is, but we only get so many weekends, we only get so much time with our kids. This is what you can do on the weekend. This is what will appeal to you. This is what will be great about your stay, and it's a prescription to kind of tick off for the guests. And that's quite an interesting way of looking at it, I thought, back in the day, because that was really, you're making sure that you're fulfilling every part of their journey and every part of their experience, and you've got that safety net around the booking of giving credence to each part of afternoon tea, breakfast, walking, dogs, all that stuff. And that was always quite an interesting approach, social media prescription.
I think another thing that I quite often like to see on social media is events. You know, those certain, you know, what's going on in the area, and sometimes I actively look for that actually on social media. You know, especially Facebook, actually, you know, what events are on, and I think it's a really good opportunity, isn't it, for hotels if they've got, I don't know, Mother's Day or Christmas events or that kind of thing. It's a really good tool to be selling.
Anyway, to be a shop window for your business. The research that funded the statistics that I mentioned before, we did with CGA at the beginning of the year, and we surveyed 3,000 consumers of recent stays and hotel stays of the future. And the other thing that struck me from that overwhelmingly was 64% of people would prefer to book direct. So if you haven't got that direct booking journey on your social media as well, that is something to really consider, because not only you've got in the social, not only you're doing the prescription, you've got to give them a quick way to access your business and book rather than going off and going through an OTA. So that to give credence to the point of the importance of posting on social media and having that shop window set up, it's just another way to distribute your business that is as important as making sure you've got the prominence on the OTAs, really.
Can I just ask Stuart and Pete about groups within Facebook. So I have a couple of I'm in a couple of local groups here, and quite often I get there comes up, you know, there's like a mummies group that I'm a part of, and ask why, but I'm part of this mummies group. But anyway, what they ask quite often is, does anybody know of any local places to go and eat? They're asking for recommendations from the community quite a lot, and I often quite post in their, you know, websites of hotels or recommendations locally of places. But that's something really we can't control as businesses, can we? Is like that peer-to-peer consumer recommendation, really, can we?
It's your reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your
Exactly that. I
reputation.
was about to say, yeah, and I suppose the other way is it's not quite peer-to-peer, but it's leveraging influencers.
Yes.
So yeah, if you get influencers into your business, then you know that can give you a bit of a boost as well. But you can, as a business, I've had success in the past with using those local Facebook groups in. I was managing a property that didn't do particularly well over the Christmas period. Just wasn't suited for that. So I as the GM posted into the local Facebook community group to say that, guys, local special offer, if anyone needs a spare room over Christmas for your aunt or whoever, come to me directly. I can give you a healthy discount, which was great in engagement with the local community. That obviously they didn't realise that actually my hotel was half empty, so I needed to fill the rooms. They thought they were getting a nice little thing. So you know, there's a win-win. So you can use those groups as a business to sort of target your very local community. But again, most of those groups, you'll soon get booted out, or people will turn off to your posts if you're just hammering them with
adverts,
adverts and sales. But there are ways that you can use them to your advantage. So I think with everything, there's no silver bullet. It's just a little bit here, a little bit there, and you know, as already been said, it's being constant and consistent. And as far as I'm aware, the OTAs don't scrape the social media channels, so you can go out with, you know, special offers and promotions purely through those channels to try and grab attention of people looking to book, that then won't affect your rate parity rules with your OTA contracts as well. So and then if you have those unique offers through social media, it's much easier for you to track what leverage that channel's given you, because you know that it's only come through there.
How about the hiring of influencers? Because, you know, is that successful? I've never really explored that much before.
I've had some that have been absolutely unbelievably good, and others where you think, great, that one worked really well. This one's going to be superb, and it's been an absolute flop. So I haven't personally worked out what the magic formula is. I don't know if anyone else in the room has got success stories of getting influencers in.
It's some time ago. I think, again, the key is to be authentic in your choice of influencer, because if you're just looking for engagement through someone who's got a really high channel lead, I think it's authentic. I did one of those a long time ago, but it was specifically targeted at families, and that worked because it was a family offer, and it was an authentic family offer, and it was an authentic family enjoying an authentic experience. It wasn't me just trying to get somebody who's got a huge following through the business. And that worked, and that was my take. I think it's that authenticity again, but I'm sure Pamela will have more than this.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, the only case studies I can think of where influencer marketing has really worked tends to be with 5-star London hotels. It's the big properties who have got the clout. They've got obviously an extensive hotel and facilities and spas and everything, and then they use very, very well-known influencers who have that clout internationally and with the London market. You're right, I can't think of any cases of sort of smaller properties using influencer marketing, that would probably be, you know, at the bottom of their list of marketing with things that they wish they could do. And it really is, yes, it's the big 5-star hotels that I can think of that have used it, and mainly London. I can't think of any outside of that, to be honest.
I think to start your social media journey, the best advice we can give, I think, and I'm talking for everybody here, is to be authentic and to be engaging and to show up, isn't it? I think that's it. And to format for the platform you're on. But authenticity and engagement and adding value, there's no harm in doing that at all on social media. I think if you just post a picture of, you know, what event's coming up, not really, but if you give some behind the scenes and talk about why it's great, and I think if you show up regularly and if you engage and if you look to add value, it's time well spent. It's really interesting, isn't it? I think if you're talking, I know when Pete and I started out, and I can talk with Pete because I work with him, but it was the hotel brochure and that was it, wasn't it? That was in the lobby and that was done forevermore. And I think now there's just so many different voices that you need to have in your business, and it's just a missed opportunity. And really, it all comes back to driving direct revenue. That's the whole purpose of why we're doing this. It's great to have an engagement and it's great to have a following, but you're trying to create a community of people that A, evangelize about you, and B, that you can monetize. And I think that's the purpose of it for me.
What do you think about platforms like YouTube and TikTok? Obviously, quite big in the younger generation. Certainly, my children that are teenagers now, and maybe looking, you know, not yet, but you know, in 5-10 years' time, will be part of that generation of starting to look, you know, go out for meals and use hotels, restaurants, things like that. What do you think about those channels? Because they've, you know, booming at the moment, aren't they? With the younger generation.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sana, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I agree that other social platforms are quite successful, and I find that something especially that me and my brother do is actually vlog stuff. So we'll like actually film what we're doing, like if we're going for afternoon tea, because we like going to different hotels to do that, or just other experiences. And then from there we link it to our like Instagram stories, and then that's how we like engage our followers and, you know, increase our viewers. So that's like another thing. I see others doing it as well, vlogging a lot, like their journey, and, you know, seeing that authenticity, like actually there in real life, then that's how I feel it drives more people to come to you.
Absolutely. Have you had people reach out to you, Sana, to evangelize on their product on their behalf?
No, I mean, I'm not an actual influencer, but I just like filming and vlogging things, but no, I'm not like a full-blown influencer, but it would be nice. But yeah, I think my brother does a bit more of that, and he's got his own Doctor Who social media channel, so he does that sort of stuff, and people are actually reaching out to him, but that's something different compared to hospitality.
So somebody needs to go through your social, and they're missing opportunities to engage with you, haven't they? That's the thing.
I mean, I'm hashtagging, I'm tagging everyone in. Even when I went to the Savoy and I watched the documentary, I was adding people and they like follow you as well. And I think what's great is when the hotel actually takes the time to repost your story. It also means a lot, and then you can repost it and it just like looks good like from both sides.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. I was just going to say, oh, sorry, she's gone now. But I was just going to say, Sana, do you use YouTube and TikTok for your vlogs as well as Instagram?
Yeah, I do. I tend to use like TikTok, Snapchat, and yeah, I link that to links on the YouTube videos to make the vlog. I just make sure everything's connected, and I am afraid I'm from that Gen Z sort of group, so I am into like posting all the time, making sure everything's like connected, and I'm not missing out on like platforms, and also using things like Threads, which came out recently as well.
Yeah, of course. Gosh, another platform.
This is it, isn't it? There's so many platforms.
Yeah, they keep coming and coming. There's like a new one every year, and then you're quickly researching it, and you want to quickly get into the trend, like whilst it's, you know, just starting.
Twitter is now X as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even I
Really?
said I have Facebook, and people are like, "Why have you got Facebook now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I started with Facebook when I was in school. Like, it's just nice to have it, just to keep connected." Yeah.
Can I, can I say
Yeah.
something about TikTok? Because I'm a huge fan of TikTok, and there are hotels, especially ones like Rudding Park, hotels with spa facilities, are producing amazing results with direct business by using TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think a few things, as we've all said, it's got to be authentic content. It's got to be something people want to see and that excites them and makes them think, my God, I want to be sitting in that hot tub. You know, I want to be lying on that massage table. I think some basics with TikTok is to register yourself as a business, as a TikTok business account, which doesn't cost anything, but that gives you the extra capability to add your URL into your biography, which you can't otherwise. And also, if you at least start posting daily, then TikTok starts to recognize that you're a content creator. So then the algorithms start really ramping up. So it's not be disappointed because you've been putting out a few and you've only had 5 people look at it. If you maintain that consistency, the algorithms really start ramping up. And then I would also say that with TikTok, do your research into the hashtags, because when I think you were talking earlier about food, is I've forgotten, it's something like 70 billion views of the hashtag that's, I think, TikTok food. So that the food
Wow.
hashtags are the most viewed. That's the thing that most people are on TikTok for. So do your research first, and you can just, if you Google what are the most popular food hashtags on TikTok, somebody's done the work for you. You don't even need to do the work. Somebody's written a blog about it somewhere recently, and make sure that you use those hashtags, because that's how people initially, until they start following you as that particular hotel, that's how they're going to find your content initially, and they'll make that snap judgment on, I want to see more content from this place. I love the look of that. It's entertained me. It's amused me. My God, I wish I could eat that food. It's
I
exciting.
was going to say, would you suggest always using really popular hashtags, because obviously that's a very saturated market, or would you use some very direct hashtags like, I don't know, if you're a hotel in Surrey hotel or something like that, that's maybe a bit more direct to your local market, as well as the food ones, like the very popular ones? Would you recommend using a mixture of both, lots of hashtags?
Yeah, to me, before the expert starts, yeah, to me, it's a mixture. So first, you need to be authentic. Nothing annoys people more. I see people right now. It's a post about nothing to do with Palestine, and they've put hashtag Free Palestine just to try and get the views. Do that, and you're dead as a business, as a professional business. To me, it's the mixture. Use the biggies because that will initially help you get the traction, but then use the local ones because of the geographic interest on the social media channels, because that's what people are looking for. But then create some of your own, so you push the hashtags that you want people to start using for your property, whether it's for your spa, your restaurant by name, or your hotel. So you drive those and other people start picking up on them. So yeah, as you rightly said, it's that mixture of those three. But that's just my view.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Amazing.
I'll tell you what I think is quite interesting as well, and Pamela, you might know more than me, I'm sure, on this, but in terms of, I think there's a real amazing area for employers to look at their own employees' personal brands as well. Isn't there? I think, I don't know, you will know, Pamela, I'm sure. I don't know how you go about orchestrating that, but in terms of having employees that are evangelizing about your business, that's a great place to be, isn't it?
Well, it is. And also, I know of several hotels that have started using TikTok for recruitment. So, and it's all part of that equation of showcase some of your employees, and that then helps you. We all say, we know hotels are struggling to get staff. The demographic that a lot of people want is that 18-34. Well, use those social media channels for your recruitment as well, because you can show off the whole of your brand. And therefore, as everybody said, even it's not just about booking a hotel, you're checking the social media and the website. People are doing that in the social media profile. So yeah, I mean, TikTok again can be used to showcase your current employees, but also to help you recruit new employees.
It is authentic, isn't it? It's truly authentic because it's their time. I'll tell you what else. You mentioned Rudding Park, which is 10 minutes from my house. So whenever I've got 5 minutes, we're there. And I think Rudding Park, not to just single them out, but a picture of Rudding Park is enough. On any platform, any day, a picture of that business is enough. But what they do is they always add value and make it entertaining. And I always look at what they do because it's so good. It's so good. And I think that would be a good start for anyone to have a look at. Not that there aren't others that do that, but that spa will sell itself in any picture, but there'll be some added value, or even Peter, the MD, will be doing something. It's a very, very good channel to have a look at, in my humble opinion.
So has anyone got any questions on this subject at all?
I actually have a question going back to what we were talking about earlier on, what everyone thinks about threads. Because every time I kind of look it up, it seems like people are leaving in their droves after the initial rise when it was first launched.
Yeah,
And I was interested to see what everyone else thought about that.
that really, it's a bit like Clubhouse, if anyone remembers that as well. They went absolutely through the roof and they've just died. I haven't seen many people having a lot of success in it, but that's not to say it's not the case. I don't know if anybody else.
No, that's a big thumbs down, I think.
Yeah, I think it might
Yeah.
be. Sana might be
you.
a better place to ask on that one.
Yeah, she's still with us. Sana, what do you think about Threads? Do you use it?
Yeah, I do use Threads. I'm still getting to like grips with it because it's quite new, even for me. But yeah, I do feel as if it did start off well, but now it's just slowly like disappeared and vanished. So I still keep the platform and use it, but not as regularly as much as like my Instagram or like TikTok or Snapchat, which are like my main social media platforms that I use. But yeah, I feel like it's disappeared in a way, and I don't know why, because everyone was like posting about it like crazy mad over the summer, and now it's like gone. But I don't know if maybe it might make a comeback over Christmas, perhaps, when people go out and post a bit more. Maybe
I think everyone signed up to it when it first launched,
Yeah.
and then it kind of all went
Yeah.
a bit, oh, okay.
Kind of, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were researching a hotel stay now, where would you go first? Would you go Google or would you go Instagram or?
Yeah, I tend to actually go on Instagram and I just like hashtag like hotels or London hotels. I like use those keywords, especially like Pamela said, just, you know, hashtagging things, or sometimes I'll ask recommendations and Google occasionally. But yeah, I do use social media platforms a lot more. I think because I follow so many pages, just everything comes on my feed. Even LinkedIn, crazily enough, as well. Like
Yeah.
I'll see a hotel, and from that, I like
I
can
was
see
going
it.
to mention LinkedIn, funnily enough, because you see a lot of hotels just aren't active on there, and it's got such crazy high levels of engagement.
Definitely.
Isn't that interesting though? I'm sorry to single out, I hope you don't mind, but not Googling to find a hotel using Instagram, and that gives credence to the entire conversation that we've just had, because that is the expectation of, if you don't mind me saying, the younger demographics, Simon.
Yeah. Sorry, you go first.
I was just going to say, I agree with Sam. I use local groups on Facebook if I want something local. We've got a mum, same as Sam, we've got a mums group, and anything that's local, restaurants or anywheres that people can recommend, I always just throw it out on a group. Can anyone recommend where to eat here or do that? I did one last night, ask for a maths tutor for my son. But yeah, always asking for recommendations, because I think that's really important, isn't it? People's personal experiences or recommendations on places. That, yeah, if someone can say, oh yeah, I had a good meal here, or I can recommend this place, then yeah, I always feel like that somehow seems to have a bit more authority, or like, yeah, if it's come yeah, exactly, if it's come from a personal recommendation, then I think that's always, for me, the first port of call first, and you trust it more, don't you?
Absolutely.
And people are keen to share as well, which I always find interesting. I think I'm going to put this on there and I'm just going to get no response, but people are like, yeah, like loads of recommendations. You're like, wow, thanks guys,
Yeah, I know. You almost think that people are just sitting at the end of the group waiting for these questions to come in, aren't they?
Yeah. Then I feel guilty if I don't ever respond to somebody.
Exactly that. Sorry, Sana, you were going to say, and I carried on talking.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So yeah, I just use like different social media platforms to like look up stuff or just hashtag it. Even like just like, as in, I do use groups, but more like WhatsApp groups, and like occasionally groups on Facebook as well, but not so much anymore, where we like share recommendations like you said as well. But yeah, I'm afraid I use a lot more social media to like look up things, but sometimes it'll like take me through to like TripAdvisor as well, or like even using apps like TripAdvisor to like look it up, or like as a motto, like different apps as well. Yeah.
So at the very least, if my hypothetical hotel doesn't have a social media presence or some form of formatted hotel photos or a description, I've kind of lost your interest already, haven't I? Yeah.
Not well. The thing is, I feel as if it's just because I spend so much time on social media, as in I just see it from there. Even like, it sounds really sad, and I actually feel sad about this now, but even like reading about the news, I don't even really look at the news anymore. I see it more on social media. So I feel like you do have to have that social media, especially like now you're kind of like, you are missing out then, which is a bit, I know it's harsh, but I feel as if you have to be there, even if you're just small or starting up, at least you have a presence, and then you can just grow and develop from there, or just see what everyone else is doing and do your research and apply those sorts of things as well. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I like the idea. You mentioned TripAdvisor. I tend to use that as the backup tool. So go to the website, look on social media, and then I go on TripAdvisor, what reviews, or Google reviews as well. I quite often look at reviews there as the sort of deciding factor for me whether I'm going to choose this place or not, as where to go for food or where to stay.
On reviews, by the way, a really good tip for hoteliers is make sure you've got a consistency of tone in the response, and obviously a prompt response, and then an accurate response and a hospitable response, but make sure you've got a consistency of tone, because you don't really want more than 2 people responding to your reviews, because you're going to lose that authentic voice. And if you've made a mistake, put your hands up and say, look, this is how we'll fix it. If it doesn't be great, please keep talk about it more, but make sure you haven't got a load of people just firing off blanket copy and paste responses. Give an authentic response, because that again is more harm than good.
Yeah, I think there's leverage now in saying that you know, a strong TripAdvisor present or good reviews have more leverage with your customer base, especially you know, Gen Z, than having, you know, 4 stars with accreditation. I think that has more, you know, more sway on people's decisions if you've got strong presence and a good online reputation, and that engagement piece as well. I think it's you know, it's really strong. It's not about, you know, positive and negative. It's, you know, I always like to look at it as positive and constructive, and I think it's how you choose to respond to those constructive feedbacks. You can really turn it round still with those.
Yeah, I think online reviews are so important, aren't they? Like I said, I always use this. I use Google reviews a lot. I'm constantly looking at, you know, what people are saying, and it does sway my decision massively over you know, what's been said. But I use social media as well. The reviews, I look on Facebook, TripAdvisor, at what people were saying. So I guess it's for hoteliers and restaurants and bars to encourage their guests to leave reviews as well, isn't it, to help build your brand as such, and help build, you know, what people think about you.
Yeah, and I generally, if I am looking at reviews, I generally look at the response as well, because if it's like, hey, really so sorry, we got it wrong, give me a call, I'll put this right for you, that's what you want to see from the business, rather than just thank you for your comments and blah blah blah. And I think the very worst is when people argue. When they argue back with reviews,
Dreadful. Yeah,
just don't.
yeah. I can't. I hate those the responses where people, you know, almost go, no, you're the problem, not us as a hotel or us as a restaurant. I can't bear that. That's a complete turn off for me. I definitely wouldn't ever consider anywhere where they've responded badly.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
There are a couple of properties that I do follow on TripAdvisor, because they are really like, they like don't take any hold back at all. It's like, and it's just, I mean, I'm never going to visit, but it's just like, yeah.
There's a restaurant. There's a
yeah.
restaurant around here exactly the same. It gets bad reviews all the time, but they're really up for the fight, and they just keep responding back really badly, saying that no, the customer's the problem. It's not. It's not us. I mean, every time we walk past the restaurant, we're like, oh, you know, you sort of just shudder as you walk past, because you just think, God, never in a million years would I go there, because I just don't want the fight.
I did really like that billboard a while ago that went viral when it said, "Come in and have the worst coffee a woman's ever had in her entire life." I thought that was quite
I was going to say maybe it's an interesting tactic, isn't it? You know, all publicity is good publicity. You do sometimes, you know, people just go to places for the comments, don't they? And sometimes
I mean,
really bad feedback reactions actually go viral.
There's those Karen diners now, aren't they? I think they're called, aren't they? Where the staff are rude. I've not been, but yeah, people like it, don't they? Yeah. Maybe we're changing our strategy now.
Yeah. So we've only got a few minutes left. If I could just take a picture for our social media, if people want to turn their cameras on or off, if they don't want to be on the picture, I'm just going to take a couple of pictures now. So if you like to smile. That's great, thank you. So has anyone got any other questions, or because we will start wrapping this up now. No. Oh, Fatty, have you got a question there? I can't hear you. You've got your camera off. Sorry, you've got your mic off. No, you turned your camera off. Oh, I've lost her now. We've lost her. Oh, no. A shame. I know. I think no, I think we've lost her. That's a shame. Has anyone got any other questions
Press
at all?
The wrong button.
Yeah, press the wrong button. Went to press the unmute and managed to get off the call, which is a shame. So I know, Stuart, you've written an article about this, haven't you?
Yeah, it's on Zonal's website. I think that the best place to leave it from me is we've heard firsthand the next generation surging hotels, and it isn't Google. And I think if you're not prevalent on the social media channels, I think it's a huge mistake. And you need to start being on there and engaging and adding value and being authentic. And fortunately, that's what my article said.
Oh, well done. Fatty's just come back into the room. Bear with me one moment. Hopefully she'll.
Well, I agree. I think, you know, we've got to remember social media serves as a dynamic tool for you as a hotel to engage with your audience. It can feel like hard work, and it is sometimes not easy and disheartening when you think something's going to get a load of likes and it doesn't hit. But you've just got to be consistent, keep going, and drive. And as you say, there's no silver bullet. You've got to drive those bookings through, you know, posting like that, or obviously there's powerful pay for adverts through social media as well. You can utilize those as well to hit the demographics that you want to.
Yeah, Fatty, you had a question and you managed to jump off, and we managed to get you back on.
Yes, I wanted to ask what social media gets results, all right, but what happens when what is posted is not what is seen when it's visited? What happens?
Oh, what when you sort of like fake reviews or fake postings? Yeah, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the pictures, they are very nice, everything, but you get there, the facility is not what was posted. What happens?
I suppose that's it.
Because if it's for the youth, they don't have time.
Yeah, it's for the consumer to say this isn't what I was expecting. I've been missold.
I was going to say it won't have longevity, will it? Because if you're posting fake photos or fake anything, and they get there and it's not what they were expecting, they're just going to leave a bad review, and then you're not going to last very long as a business, I don't suppose, are you?
Yeah, and they you know, the people will comment on it that, you know, that it's fake, and you know it will, you'll get found out very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Although I have had that, you know, when I was looking for my wedding venue, having yeah, I had a look at some amazing pictures, and then went to see the venue, and it really didn't come up to the standard that their pictures were showing. So yeah, I think yeah, it doesn't win you business in the long term, put it that way.
No, more harm than good.
Has anyone got any other questions at all? No. Stuart, I was just going to say, did you want to send in the chat room, did you want to just put the link up of your
I can.
yeah, so if anyone wants to read the article that Stuart's written about social media, then you're very welcome. Stuart's just going to pop it in the chat now, so for everyone to have a look. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Yeah, it's been a really fun chat talking about social media, and thank you for your input as well, those that have contributed to the conversation. It's really interesting to get other people's views as well. So yeah, that's that link's in the chat room. If anyone wants to click on that, then please do. Like I said, this conversation will be available on our website for on demand. So if anyone does want to then play that back, then feel free. It will be, like I said, loaded on our website soon. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Pete, for being our host today.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Talking about social media. It's been really interesting, and the next In Conversation will be in 2 weeks' time, so hopefully I'll see some of you then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Have a good
everybody.
day.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.